All right, so let's go downstairs. I want to show you my Amazon space. It's nothing crazy. I just moved in here about 4 months ago, so I'll give you a little tour really quick of what's going on. That's the Amazon space right there. This is my little home gym. I know you'll appreciate it after losing a person.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest killers.
Yeah,
it's nice when you have access to it right here.
Yeah, man. So this is like the gym. I'm gonna go right behind you real quick. This is where I have some of, it's kind of a mess back here, but this is some eBay stuff that I have to list, some items for sale, some items that are already listed, a bunch of boxes. This place is kind of a mess right now. Some Legos that I collect, some different things that I have to list on eBay. So this isn't super efficient, and hopefully this will motivate you, because you're probably thinking like, well, why isn't everything like all like, where's all the Amazon inventory? Like, why isn't everything like super? It doesn't have to be with this business, because we literally, with Amazon, we just ship everything out.
Right.
So it's simple. It's very, very simple. The only thing that's going to apply to the Amazon business back here isn't even this. These are just, I've been sourcing a lot off of eBay, different items, DVDs, board games, textbooks, different things. So when the boxes come, I just been tossing them here. So if I sell something on eBay, I use those for eBay. So this isn't even Amazon. This is the only thing back here that applies to Amazon, because sometimes when I pack a box, there's like some dead space in it. So I'll just throw some void fill, different things in there, bubble wrap. That's about it, man. Like, nothing really even applies back here to Amazon. I just want to show you. Look at those snowboards. Those are pretty cool, $10. Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry to interrupt this video. Real quick, I want to shout out the sponsor of today's video, which is really, really cool. I think you're going to love this. It's Pallet IQ. So behind me, I have about 1,200 books that I recently purchased from Pallet IQ. And Pallet IQ is a service that allows you to get hundreds, if not thousands, of books shipped directly to you with healthy profit margins. So instead of having to go to thrift stores and garage sales and flea markets and spend all that time to find books, you can actually have them shipped directly to you. So there's a ton of books that I got here. I've already processed about a couple hundred of them. And believe it or not, these aren't just books that are gonna make 30 cents, 40 cents, and be 3 million, 5 million ranked. These are really good books. So I should double my investment. I ended up spending $3,400 on all these books right here, and I should double my investment, double my profit. Now, you know, it's gonna obviously take some time to ship these all out, and you know, it takes work, but instead of me having to go out and spend hundreds of hours finding all these books, I literally am able to leverage my time, leverage my systems, leverage everything that you're learning in this book series to ship quickly, analyze quickly, and get them to the FBA warehouses to grow my business. So definitely check out Pallet IQ. I've been enjoying their service so far, and I love the people who run this business. I stand behind them. So check it out, and back to the video. So this is my YouTube room. I don't know if, have you seen any of my recent, if this looks familiar at all?
Yeah.
So this is where I shoot the YouTube videos right here. And here's some of the equipment that I use, and I'm gonna go through some of the things. I got some notes here to make sure that I hit on it all. But this isn't very extravagant, is it? There's not really much going on in here, is here? Like, there's
Yeah, keep it simple.
There's not much going on in here, and hopefully this inspires some people, because this isn't very complicated. I'm gonna go through some of the supplies and stuff that I use, so you guys can put it together. You can, obviously I'm gonna give you a list of stuff afterwards for all the equipment that you need and stuff. I'm gonna give you some options, but I'm gonna go through this list to make sure that I cover it all. So there's like 3 main parts of running an Amazon business. There's going out, like sourcing and scanning your items. There's listing your books and kind of prepping them. What I mean by prep, like with books, it's like just peeling off the stickers. There's not really much you have to prep with books. Right?
Yeah.
If you sell like certain toys and stuff that are like exposed, like sometimes you have to like stretch wrap them, or I don't have any here right now. My mom, she's like super like, she's super picky about like making sure they're like perfectly presented, and we're gonna talk about conditioning books. So like she'll polybag them sometimes. It's not necessary. She's like, Steven, like people, they're gonna want it to be in good condition. It doesn't really, honestly, doesn't matter as much as you think on Amazon. So there's scanning and sourcing, there's listing and prepping, and then there's shipping. So like those are the three like main elements. And the equipment I share with you is going to kind of cover it all. So let's talk about scanning. So do I have my phone on me? Yes. What do you have for a phone? I got an iPhone.
Note 10.
Note 10. So it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You could have an Apple, you could have an Android. You're going to need a phone. Secondly, I think I have it. It's in here. People want to know, what do you scan with? I recommend, there's a lot of different scanners out there. You can look them up. This one is a Natamu scanner. Feel this thing. It's pretty cheap and crappy, but it does the job. I think it's like 50 or 60 bucks. And you just turn it on. I go to my app. It should automatically connect, but if not, I will go to my, I think I got to turn my Bluetooth on, and then it should say scanner. Boom. It says connected. Whoa, what do we got going on here, Zach? So it's connected. So Scout IQ is right there. You have to find a book that has a barcode. So let me see. And this is just, we're going to cover this in depth. Boom. Oh, it logged me. I have to log back in because I actually logged into another device. So you're going to have to take my word for it. But yeah, you just scan the barcode and it scans. So I'll log back in a second. But yeah, for the software that I use two different apps. I use Scout IQ, which you're familiar with, right?
I'm familiar with it, haven't used it.
Okay, so it's just an app that essentially, it's very similar to the Amazon Seller app. So this is the Amazon Seller app right here. On the Amazon Seller app, it'll say, you know, how much I've sold over the last 30 days, units today, payout, blah, blah, blah. So with the Amazon app, you can do pretty much everything that Scout IQ could do. And I'm not going to go in depth right now. Like when we go upstairs, I'm going to freaking beat your brains down to a pulp when we're talking about this stuff, because it's a lot. But Amazon Seller app will essentially, you could scan items and it'll tell you, you know, how much it's selling for and whatnot. But with Scout IQ, you can use like a third-party app and it'll automatically make decisions for you. So you can scan like pretty much like 5 to 10 times faster. So we'll go more in depth with that. But I have my phone, I have my Natamu scanner, and then I have Scout IQ and the Amazon Seller app. That's pretty much all I have for scanning. Now, some people, if you ever go out to the thrift store, if you go out to the thrift store, they'll have like, have you ever seen people with like the little arm set up? Oh yeah, man, don't mess with those people. I'm telling you right now. Especially if they ride a motorcycle, do not mess with them. But you can get one of those little arm attachments. I don't use it. To be honest, when I go to the thrift store, sometimes I'm just scanning with my phone. Like you don't need to use this. This just makes it quicker because you could just kneel down and go boom, 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 like right through the barcodes, like a badass. But you could just use your camera to scan it as well, just slower.
Yeah. And then, well, I guess with the sound confirmation and stuff, it helps out where you don't, you know.
Yeah, and I'm going to be talking about that upstairs. But yeah, you can put headphones in and it'll like show like a green to buy, like a red to pass. It'll do like a little ding for like a buy or like to pass. So you can set up like different notifications. And with Scout IQ, you can set up different like rules and parameters. So some people want to buy a book that they spend $3 on to make $2 profit, so that would be green. But you could also set it up to where that would be red, because maybe you don't want to spend 3 to make 2. You want to spend 3 to make 5, right? So you could set up different rules and algorithms in a sense. So that's really it for scanning. Now when it comes to listing and prepping books, and again, we're just covering like some of the basics. We're going to go through this whole thing together. But for listing and prepping books, I have something called a Scotty Pillar. Do you know what a Scotty Pillar is?
I know what they are, and I'm gonna.
Okay. So Scotty Pillar is pretty simple. I mean, I'm not gonna go crazy with this, but it just peels off the. I freaking hate these things. They work okay, honestly. I keep my nails a little long. I just rip them right off. So the Scotty Pillar, you can also get some Goo Gone, which is like, you know what that is, a little substance you throw on the books, and you can get them off. Stretch wrap. This is something that I use if I'm selling like a box set of books. Like sometimes you'll find like 3 or 4 books that go together that are under one listing. So how do you send those out? You can go under one listing, but you have to put them together. So I use a stretch wrap to just kind of put like different sets and stuff together.
What about books with like CDs and things like that? Do you do that with them, or just?
Yeah. So like if there's like a DVD or something that has. I thought I had one over here, maybe not. That's kind of like opened. Instead of taping it down and then people rip it off and it destroys it, you can stretch wrap it, and then I throw a piece of tape on over it. So that's what I use this for. I've got a software called Accelerlist. I'll put a little picture on the page. That's the software that I use to list. Do not, I'm going to tell everybody right now, please listen to me. If there's one thing that you listen to me about today, you can ignore everything else. Please don't list on Amazon Seller Central. Don't do it. It's the absolute worst. It's the worst. It's the slowest, most inefficient. Honestly, I'd rather sleep in a bed full of spiders and snakes all night than have to list on Amazon Seller Central. Mama Prophet, if you're listening, I love you with all my heart, but can you please just use Accelerlist? I've tried to teach her a million times. She doesn't want to use it. She doesn't want to change. She doesn't want to do it. She sits there and it takes her 15 minutes to list an item. Steven, I got all the time in the world. All right, well, if you want to, I don't. The clock is ticking. Don't use Amazon to list. Just don't. Accelerlist is a software that costs 20 or 30 bucks a month. I know for some it might hurt. If you're really on a budget and you don't have any money and you're suffering, I know you have some finances because you've got a pretty solid job and stuff.
Right.
You have to get Accelerlist. Don't. I honestly, man, the heck is this? Well, hello. Accelerlist, you got to use it, man. It will improve your listing by like 10x faster. And it gives you like different like bookkeeping numbers and stuff. And I'll show you when we get into it. But that's a software that I use. I use a software called Keepa. I'm not going to talk much about it now, but that's a software. It's a Chrome extension that pretty much like shares like price history and stuff. I'll put a link on the page right here. But I don't know. Have you ever heard of Keepa?
Yeah, I'm familiar with like watching the charts, and then you can kind of tell if
Yeah.
Amazon has been in on it or.
I don't use it a ton, to be honest, but it's something that you can use. In terms of printers, so I'm going to show you guys the printer I'm going to be teaching you about today. And this is a very special printer to me for one reason why. I got this at Savers for $6.99. I just sold like a similar one for $100 on eBay. These things sell like hotcakes. They sell even better on Amazon. This probably goes for like 120, 130 bucks on Amazon.
Oh, is it a laser?
It's a laser printer. Right. So, yeah, it takes toner cartridges. So instead of like having like an inkjet printer where it's like 60 bucks to get the ink, like this is probably like 14 bucks for two, and this will probably last like the whole year.
All right.
So yeah, the downside to this is it's big and it's bulky. Remember before how we were talking about being like dumb or ignorant? Mm-hmm. Oh man, 5 years ago I was the dumbest person you'll ever meet. When I was going to hotels and stuff, I didn't know anything about Dymo printers. These are like the best, but they're a pain in the butt. That's why I'm not going to teach you how to use them today. We're going to use this. The downside is it's big and it's bulky, and when you're printing out different labels, it's very inefficient in a sense, but for the beginner, I think this is the best way to start because it's very easy to use. It's cheap, it's easy. These things are at thrift stores all day long. So look for the Brother printers. This is the HL2270DW. Really, any Brother laser printer will work. Just throw the toner in right here. It's very, very simple to use, very cheap. I like this because it's easy. I'm going to talk about, like, when we actually do our shipment, you're going to see why it's inefficient.
Okay.
Because when you list books on Amazon, you have to put like a little barcode on the back of each one. It's called an FN SKU. If you have a Dymo printer, every time you list a book, it pops out and you can slap it on. Pops out, slap it on, pops out, slap it on. But when you list 30 books using this, you have to print them all out at once, and then you have to do it like one by one. So it's a little inefficient, but the reason why, I'll be 100% transparent, the reason why I'm not even using these now is because ever since I moved into this house, these things are having problems all day long. Somebody in the comments, smash that like button and let me know I'm not the only one. These things are a freaking nightmare. They work really, really well for a long period of time until they decide not to work anymore. And like, sometimes these things have issues like linking up with Accelerlist. Sometimes they stop working. Man, I was battling with these things about 3 weeks ago for like 3 hours. I couldn't get it to work. So.
I was able to pick up one.
They're the best,
I think
though.
It was like a 450. Just dumb luck at a garage sale out in the middle of nowhere for $2. You know, and it was like, it had like the CD driver disc and stuff.
These are the best though, because these will print out the little. You see these little labels right here? Mm-hmm. They'll print out the FN SKU label that'll go over the the barcode on a product, and they'll shoot out instantly. When you sell on Amazon, you have to label 2 things: the books, if you choose to, or you could have Amazon do it and you can pay extra, and then this will actually like be the label that shoots out to go over the box, the UPS label.
Okay.
So don't worry about, you're not going to understand. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry about anybody. Don't worry about understanding this now. I'm just kind of like giving you an overview of some of the supplies. Once you scale, God be with you. If these things don't want to work anymore. But these are the best. I've been using this the last 3 weeks because I lost my patience.
Easy to do with electronics.
Yeah. So if you have more patience than I do. So in terms of printing, and I'm going to open up, I'm going to have you ask questions in a second. I just want to go through these, kind of share the supplies. In terms of shipping, this is just Amazon Basics tape. Don't get tape that has too low of like a mil rate. It's like MIL. I think that has to do with like the thickness of tape. You'll be like, who here has ever had tape that gets stuck and you're just like fighting it and you can't get it? Get something that has a decent thickness.
Just start shredding. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't the best, but it's good enough. We're gonna use the tape for like shipping out, like for like taping up the boxes and everything like that. Boxes, I usually go to Home Depot or Lowe's to get my boxes. I ship 1 box out at a time. So remember how I told you before, like this is gonna be like a very beginner, non-complicated, like my goal for you being here is to actually go out and send out a shipment. I could teach you all about, you ever heard of box contents? Probably not,
no.
Right? If you send out more products that fit in 1 box, like there's all these different additional steps that you have to do and it becomes complicated and there's just all this extra stuff you have to do. If you ship just 1 box out at a single time and print out a label, it's very simple. But if I wanted to send out 2 different boxes at the same time, Amazon requires like all these different steps. So for everyone who's watching, this isn't the video. I'll link up some videos down below if you want to send out more than 1 box at a time. It doesn't mean you could still send out 10 boxes a day, but you can't just put it all under 1 shipping plan. So I do everything 1 box at a time. And again, what I do, I usually make a couple $1,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month profit, depending on how hard I'm going with the thrift stores, garage sales, flea market, all that stuff with like Amazon, like reselling like this. I'm not talking about any other models. So this isn't the most efficient way, but I go to Home Depot, I get the 16 by, what is this? 16 by 12 by 12 boxes. It's a small box. I like this box because this box is a little beat up. But you have to remember when you're shipping out a box, you can't have any more than 50 pounds. Before, you used to be able to put Team Lift on the side of the box and you can go over 50 pounds, but you have to keep under 50 pound limit. So if you're selling a lot of textbooks, if you fill this up with textbooks, it'll probably be like 30, 40, 45 pounds. So I like to ship with this size. If you're shipping like board games and different things that are bigger, you can start getting like some just bigger random boxes. Some people dumpster dive, but I go to Lowe's and Home Depot, also Walmart to get my boxes. So usually the 16 by 12 by 12s, or sometimes like the 18 by 18 by 16s or so. So those are the boxes that I use. We'll talk more about that in video number 5. I shared the void fill with you guys in that other room. And now, so remember how I was telling you with the Brother laser printer, when you're printing out the little labels? Mm-hmm. So this is what you're gonna stick in the printer. So there's 30 of them. These are called 30 up labels.
Okay.
Are you gonna understand anything I'm talking about right now?
I've actually
Maybe a little.
seen those. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about what this means because I'm gonna share when we actually ship items.
Okay.
But this is a 30 up label. Actually, I just bought some new ones off of Amazon. These are 3,000 labels. So, I mean, this will last me like months, right? It's like $13. So when you're shipping, you have to label each individual product if you choose to, and then you have to put a label on the outside of the box. Remember the box I showed you upstairs in the first video?
Yes.
I like these. These are, you could show them that, Zach. These are half sheet adhesive labels. So you see how each sheet, have you ever used these for eBay?
I've just been printing off on regular paper, which I know you're not supposed to do.
And you use the scissors and stuff?
Yeah, everything out. Yeah.
I love it, man. You're grinding, man. But this is a little hack. You know, it's going to cost you $7 or $8. It's going to cost you a couple pennies per sheet. But when you print out the label, instead of having to cut it with scissors and, put it there nicely, You just throw this in the printer. It'll print out the, your address and then the FBA shipment address and everything. And then you just stick it on the box. They used to let you put it on top of the box. We'll cover this when we go through the shipping, but they want it on the sides of the box because when the Amazon people get your box and they slice it open, some people put the labels over it and it messes it up. So we'll talk more about that. In terms of cost, man, like honestly, if you're going thrifting and stuff, like this isn't a lot of money. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to pick up a scale because you're gonna have to weigh your stuff. This was like $20. The tape is like, $15 to get some tape. These are a little more expensive. I think you guys are gonna have to let me know in the comments. I think these are like over $100 each or something, maybe 80, 60 bucks maybe now, a little cheaper. Not super expensive. The Brother laser printer, you could find ones for like 60 or 70 bucks, the lower end laser printers. That's probably one of your base expenses. I don't have the fancy dancy tape gun, right?
Right.
I never even learned how to use them the right way. I just use this cute little thing right here, and I'll show you when I'm shipping. So you get one of those at Walmart for $5 or $6. There's not a ton of expenses. Like this, the scanner's like 60 bucks or so. Scout IQ, I think is like 20, 30 bucks a month. Accelerlist is, I think, 20 or 30 bucks a month. And I'll put links down below for everybody. I'll give you some free trials and stuff if you want to check it out. If not, no worries. Boxes are a buck or so each. These are 8, 10, 12 bucks. So there's not a lot of expenses. Do you have any questions with any of the equipment or whatnot?
Well, as far as things like certain books, I would assume that somebody that is going to buy this book is probably more on like a collectible level. Is that something that you're going to shrink wrap and throw the barcode on the outside versus sticking it to?
So I don't. Back to the dumb and the ignorant. Maybe I'm being either one of those. My mom, 100%. She would stretch wrap it or put a poly bag around it. If you do put a poly bag, you have to make sure to put one of those suffocation labels over it. A lot of poly bags do have the suffocation. You know what I'm talking about, where it says
the warnings,
the warning and stuff,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Or you can get a sticker to throw on it. But I won't. I'm more riskier, so maybe it's out of ignorance because I've never gotten in trouble for it. If it's like a $400 book or something that's really highly collectible, I'll protect it. I'll poly bag it or I'll stretch wrap it and give it that little extra love. But for something like this, which, let's scan this thing real quick. By the way, on Amazon, if there's no barcode, we're going to talk about it. You can scan the cover of the book, just like that. So this book right here it's only selling for 23 bucks. So I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, so you're going to just put the sticker right
My
on
mom would.
it.
She'd definitely do it.
Yeah, that's
She'd frame it.
Where it's like, like if somebody's going to get mad that they've got a sticker on their book or have to peel it off and, but.
You know what I learned from one of my buddies, Avery? I don't know how accurate this is, but he says a customer can't give you negative feedback for leaving a price tag on a book. I would never leave it on. I would always take it off because it seems disrespectful. But if you ever leave one accidentally, if you ever get negative feedback, Amazon will remove it.
That's what I was wondering. Like, I would
Take it off,
with $1.99 because you just don't you don't want to put it out there that, hey, this came from Goodwill or whatever, and give people the idea that that's where they should go. But something like some of the books might have say it's going to sell for $15, but it's got a price tag of $17.98 from Walmart or something that's still on it. Are you going to pull those tags
Probably
off?
not, unless the price is so much higher that I don't want to cause any issues, But I try to rip off the stickers as much as I possibly can. Any other questions about the equipment, man? Anything that maybe held you back in the past? How are we looking on time, Zach?
Oh, we got another 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Trying to think. As far as setting up shipments and everything within the app, all your box measurements are typically going to be printed on.
Yeah, if not, just get yourself a little tape measure. Bada bing, bada boom. You can measure them out like that. A lot of times, I just estimate, right? I just estimate what the size is, and I've never had any issues, If I do something that could be a little, I'll let you guys know. Like, you probably should just measure it. I just estimate it. I've never had an issue. If the measurements are off too much, UPS could pick up on it and maybe want to charge you more, which would not be good, especially, every shipment I send out is usually a couple $100 profit or so. So, yeah, but I would measure it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess using a box that might be a little bit rougher is probably less of a problem with Amazon because it's going into Amazon versus like you don't want to do that with eBay, right?
Yeah, I don't think
you're dealing with the end customer versus.
I don't think it matters. Maybe someone in the comments could let me know. I thought I read something about how I don't know if you could ship with any box. Like, I always ship with Home Depot boxes or plain boxes. Like, I don't know if I'd want to ship in like a Walmart box with like a bunch of branding. But then again, Home Depot has Home Depot branding all over it. So I thought I read something about you're not supposed to ship with certain boxes. But honestly, I just ship with like plain cardboard boxes. Make sure it's under 50 pounds. That's the biggest thing. And make sure the box has some good integrity. The thing that you want to be concerned with most is like making sure you tape up your box really well. So we'll be talking about that when we go through the actual shipment. But yeah, man, if the box is too big, another piece of equipment you guys could look up on Amazon is called a box resizer tool. You ever seen those things?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of people use them.
Or you could just use a knife tool and just cut down the edges, and then you fold it over and it'll kill the dead space that way. Or again, you can use like some of the void fill and stuff. Yeah, so dude, that's it, man. One more thing I forgot to share as well. You know what this is? You should see what the library is. It's a little, it's a USB scanner. So you plug this into your computer, and when you're listing your items, instead of having to type in every individual thing, like, Mom, why do you do that? Mom, stop. I gave you one of these. Use it. Why are you making me look so bad? She's sitting there typing in the freaking the ISBN number for every book when she lists it. No, you can just scan it. You know how we scanned the book with that?
Yeah.
You can scan this in and it'll bring up the listing instantly. So it's like $10. Please get one. Don't go. You guys, if you want to become my enemy, there's two things that you could do. You could list your books without one of these and freaking use Amazon Seller Central. So that's it, man. Do you want to move on to go into the fun part, which is going to be scanning books, analyzing books?
Yeah. I mean, this is all pretty basic and common sense.
Yeah.
It's somewhat related to what most people do with reselling. It's just
this is nothing.
Different level. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, you're probably thinking, I just wasted my time watching 20 minutes of something I already know, but maybe you'll learn something new. Man, let's keep moving, man. You're doing a great job so far. Let's get on to the fun stuff.